וידבר השם אל משה במדבר סיני באוהל מועד באחד לחודש השני בשנה השניס לצאתו מארץ מצרים לאמור. So the Rashi brings מתוך חיבוסן לפניו מעונוסם כל שעה כשיוצא ממצרים. So on Tez Zion, Tez Vav Nisan, there was a minion. וכשנפלו בעגל מעונן Leida Hanasarim, and also there was a minion on the Shivasa Tammuz. There was a minion. Ukishabo the Hashra Shchidos Aleim Monam. So and then so that was Tezvav, and that was Yudzayin Tammuz, and then the Mishkan when it was put up in Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So then when Eiyer comes Rosh Chodesh Eiyer, so that's when they put it up. That's when you had the second minion. The Hashvish Chidos Aleim Monam be'echad b'nisan hukam ha'mishkan be'echad b'Eiyer Monam. So it was put up taka on echad b'Eiyer. It was put up echad b'nisan, and then be'echad b'Eiyer. So that's when that was when the count was. So the Maral explains what's bitoch chibos and what is that his monam tomid. So he says because once you have 3 times in 1 year, so that's the monam tomid. That's in 1 year, because the first one was in Nisan, was in the went from Nisan to all the way till years, a little bit over a year. That's what he says. Anyway, I'll call upon him. State Su'u is Rosh Kol Das B'nei Yisrael L'Mishbechos L'Veis Avosam V'Bispa Shem is Kol Zachar L'Gugalosam. So there's a the Medrash Tanchuma here says State in Pasuk Ish al Diglo the Osis. So it says in the Pasuk over here, it says this is Aleph Beis and Beis. It says Idaber Hashem el Moshe ve'el Aaron le'war Ish al Diglo va'oses leveis avosam yachnu b'nei Yisrael mineged soviv lo'o mo'ed yachnu. So state Medrash Ish al digla ba'osis zesha amar havieni al beis hayayin. So that what it says in Shiur Shiurim in Beis Dalit, it says havieni al beis hayayin. Mahu havieni al beis hayayin. What's meant is that you're bringing me into beis hayayin. Kiven shenigla Hakadosh Baruch Hu al Har Sinai. Since Hakadosh Baruch Hu was nigla al Har Sinai, yardu ima chav beis elef merivavos malachim. So the 22,000 malachim came down with the Kadosh Baruch Hu on the Har Sinai. Shenamar, it says Rechav Elokim Ribosayim Alpei Shanan V'Hoya Suyin Ridegolim Degolim. So these malachim which came down with the Kadosh Baruch Hu on the Har Sinai, so that was they were situated in a way of Degolim. Yeah. Well, Yasuyin Degolim Lakach Namar. Dago mervava. Kiven shiro os in Yisrael shohayosuyin the golim. So once Klal Yisrael they saw, we were waiting on Har Sinai, we see these malachim and they're mamish in the golim fashion, from the 4 sides. His chila misavim with the golim. So that they pushed his chila, his chila. They started to have a tremendous taiva with the golim. Amru ulavaisha onu nasim the golim kamosan. Halavai, we should also have the golim just like they have, whatever. The kach member havienu al beis hayayin. Havienu al beis hayayin zeh Har Sinai, because the beis hayayin is always Torah. Shesham nosna Torah. Shenim shelo yayin shenamar lechu lachmo belachmi v'shalsa b'yayin mesachti. So Havi Omer said Havieni al beis hayayin v'diglo alay avo amru halavai hu magdil alay avo V'kein hu on there. That's what it says. The Rana b'shu asechu v'shem elokein on nidgol. Yimali Hashem called me shel asechu. Amar lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Klal Yisrael, he savisim v'degolim. So your mamish have this tremendous taiva for the golim. So chayechem hareni osem mishal asechu Yimali Hashem called me shel asechu. Miyad HaKadosh Baruch Hu hera avosel Yisrael. So Kadosh Baruch Hu showed his chibur, his ava for Klal Yisrael. V'amar l'Moshe leich also some the golem k'Moshe nesavu. And he told Moshe, go make the golem like Moshe nesavu. Okay, so first asked, I mean, I'm not falling off my chair from these the golem exactly. Like what happened? So they said they were in a nice formation. They saw that the golem and Savo. We're talking about Klal Yisrael, Sinai, and Alice was Tutzavdot, and all of a sudden now like they see the Malachim. Wow, this is like unbelievable. We need this, like the golem. Like all right, So what? Okay. Something we got like a team like it must be something Indian God had different they were so spoiled from the Malachim here and Sveitens the China's
they want to be in recovered the same way. Yeah.
Why? What's the why? So it can't be without. I mean, that's the only way to do it. I mean, we're here. We're getting the Torah like this, and I says Malachim, and for me, like all right, so I want to be like that. Like what for? What's all right, and then the Savim, there was a taiva gedola, like it wasn't like stam, like nice thing. Let's imitate it.
Why is not Haviani El Beis
Beis Yayin was Har Sinai. That's the Torah. Yeah, so it says bring me to Beis Yayin. The pshat is in a way that the pshat is like the Malachim were by Har Sinai. Situate us like the Malachim by Har Sinai. But I'm just asking, like I don't not a great, it's not a very intelligent question, but it's Stam. I don't all right,
There's got to be a beer.
They weren't. There was no musig of the golem before this.
Oh, so it says by when they took up Yaakov Avinu out of Mitzrayim, so that's why I want to show in the lashon over here. His chilul lisavos. Yaakov Avinu was mitzvah them to go out and in the same formation of the golem. So for carrots and the Medrash says, I find it's here someplace that the Medrash says that Moshe Rabbeinu was worried when the Rebbeinu Shalom told him to make it the golem. So he was afraid that, like, all right, I'm going to put, what do we do? You have the seating arrangement and everybody wants to switch the seats and stuff like that. So he's afraid, Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid that, why'd you put me here? Why did I get this and that? And then they'll have tinus. So the Rebbeinu Shalom told him, don't worry about it. This is a Kamar Kibla. They already had a Kabbalah from Yaakov Avinu that to this the golem. So why were they now all of a sudden they're in the spoil from the golem? Why were they in the spoil from they already knew there was a tradition, there was a Messiah from the golem. So no. So that's why I say it says very interesting here. It says when the Kivan Shiro Osin Yisrael Shohay Yasoyin the golem Hischilo Misavim. So it's very meduyik that they didn't have the taiva before this. Once they saw the Malachim, they knew there was such a situation. There was a way of presentation, a way of formation, whatever. But they didn't. Once they saw the Malachim, so the pshas then was hischilo, lizavus. So the pshas one was okay. Well, we heard it. So what's the big deal? I shouldn't say a big deal. What is the Indian that now they have this taiva to this thing here? So we know that we always many times we've explained that the Bereshis Bar Elokim. Let's get back to the Eitz Hashemayim Beis Haaretz. Bereshis B'Shvil HaTorah B'Shvil Yisrael. Those is a tachlis. Those are tachlis. We've said many times, and forget this is a tachlis which is a tamidius. It's not a tachlis a one-time thing, and you know it's what the Rebbeinu Shalom's tachlis means is a ständige tachlis. Those is tachlis from Welt. There is no other tachlis except for that we brought down. You know, like a few other connections within that are called bar l'kvoda, but it's also there's alles geht around in the zelba, but. So, and then we said that the Pshat said, although the Fashis, the Shishi Riva Neshamas of Klal Yisrael were all Niklau inside Adam Arishan, and he would have been the Kiyam. Had it not been a Chet, he would have been the Kiyam from this Bereshis Bishvil Torah Bishvil Yisrael. He was Yisrael. All the Shishi Riva Neshamas were inside. Once he made the chet, so the Pshat said it was inspired from him all the neshamas, and there was a necessity. Now the only way you can have a tikkun in a veld is to have a bria in the floor called Klolius Knesset Yisrael. That through the bria in the floor of Klolius Knesset Yisrael, you'll be able to massacre who are ki'ish echod b'leiv echod. So Mamela Shaykh now to tzirik some the yeda matzah from Adam Arishan, you can be masakin and you can and mekayim the tachlis of Welt. That's why we explained that all the dairis between from Adam Arishan until Matan Teres, and the Pshas though the Kodesh Baruch Hu was on some bechasto lo kilo chastos. That's the 26 kilo chastos. Okay. And we said Mamela by Har Sinai, right before Har Sinai, we said there was a process in Mitzrayim to create this Klolius Knesset Yisrael. Now we know that there are different parts of the Tzuras Adam. We have a Nefesh, and we have a Ruach, and we have a Neshama, so all these we had for types exactly when these things were taken, the tikkun of the Klolius Knesset Yisrael, all the parts of Klolius Knesset Yisrael when it happened. So, we said about the Yam Suf, it was the Nigmar of the Ruach of Klal Yisrael. That's why they made a Shiur, because the Ruach is the Kach of Dibur, and Mamela, that's why there was a Shiur by Kriyas Yam Suf. So the Nefesh was in Mitzrayim, and the Ruach was Nigmar. I mean, the whole, whatever they started, whatever process it was starting, but it was Nigmar. And then the Neshama, sometime, the Neshama of this Klolius Knesset Yisrael, this Adam Arishan, Madur Basar from Adam Arishan, so the Pshas said that was before Har Sinai, because we said on Beis Sivan already, it was already Kodesh Baruch Hu said that Hiyuli Mamlechas Kahanim v'Goy Kodesh. There was a Bechiras Ha'am. The Bechiras Ha'am was on Beis Sivan, and then the Nasinas Torah was on Vav Sivan. Whatever days we want to go with. So the Pshas Mabela and those two, and that's the two brachos. That's the sharish of the two brachos that we make in the morning of there's a bracha of Asher Bacher Banu, and there's a bracha from just of Torah, the Vitzivan Lasek B'Torah, V'Divrei Sarah. So Mabela the Pshas. So and because of this new bria called Klolius Knesset Yisrael, so there's we said, but the identity of the individual yid was not lost. The pshat is that we have like a do partsufim. The do partsufim means you have two different orientations of our metzias of what we are. There's a metzias of pshat that Adam is nivra yechidi. Therefore, he should say b'shvildi nivra Adam, and the pshat and he has his avodah if they are the Rebbeinu Shalom. And then there's an avoda from the, he's a part of the Klolius Knesset Yisrael, the Ish Echad B'leiv Echad. He's the two parts off in two separate inyanim like that. Because of that, let's see. So that's the two bechinas. This is the two bechinas over here in the pasuk. We started it off with saying that there was a Bamidbar Sinai v'Amoid. That's pasuk Aleph. Su'us Rosh Kol Adas B'nei Yisrael l'Mishpachosam l'Veis Avosam b'Mispar Shemas Kol Zachar L'Gugulosam. So you have here in the pasuk two separate ideas, two separate musagim over here. There's a Kol Adas B'nai Yisrael we once mentioned before. When it says Kol Adas B'nai Yisrael, it means everybody. It's the Bahakil, that's everything. The Mishbechos and Leveis Avosam. That's the Klolius Knesses Yisrael. B'Mispar Shemes Kol Zocha L'Gugulosam. And then talk about the individual. We'll talk about the Klal and then the Prat. Again, that's the Mishbechos and Leveis Avosam is the Klal. That's the Klolius Knesses Yisrael. And when it says B'Mispar Shemes Kol Zocha L'Gugulosam, so that's the Prat. That's the Prat. So those are the two bechinas of what we're talking about of Klal Yisrael. So very interesting state of Fush and Pasuk here. And I found that he brings down like this in the Shemish Shmuel. So he brings down a medrash in Shmos Rabbah in Perach Mem Ches. Okay. Perach Mem Ches here, he says, that's be here someplace here. States in Pasuk in Ishaya, it's a Pasuk in Ishaya Mem, I think Chalvav. Hamasi b'mispar tzivam l'kulam b'shem yikra. So there's a Pasuk in Ishaya, Navi says b'shem yikra. Because of Acher, or because of Echod Omer, and it says in Pasuk at the Hillim, it's Kuf Mem Zayin Dalid. So over there it says l'kulam shemos yikra, Lashon Rabbim. So one pasuk it says Shem Yikra, another pasuk says Shemas Yikra. Keitzad. Keitzad is kind of Shrek Suvim Elu. So which one is it? Elo Kishakash Baruch Hu Mevakesh Likrosam Ke'echod. When Akash Baruch Hu wants to address Klal Yisrael as a whole, as together, who carry the Kulam Shem Echod. Then he calls them, there's one Shem. That's what he calls them. That's the Shem Echod. So that's the pasuk in Yeshayahu Navi. The Kulam b'Shem Yikra. Ukeshu karei lechol echod be'echod b'shmo hu karei osam Michal v'Gabriel. It's an example. So over there, so that's what happens when he wants to call each one. So you see weiter the pshas from the Medrash Mefurish that there's two bechinas that the Kodesh Baruch Hu relates to Klal Yisrael. Sometimes as individuals, and he calls each person a separate name, and that's the Shemus Yikra. And there's a bechina where he addresses the Gans Klal Yisrael, the Klolius Knesses Yisrael, which is the pshat, that's one Shem. So he brings down here, Ukashu carry the kol echad ve'echad b'shma who carry us and Michal v'Gabriel. The kach them while the kulam Shem is Yikra. Fine. Ainli ala l'mailon. So that's he brings that. There's also this is all the lashon of the Medrash over here. Is Ainli ala l'mailon. That's what maybe we're talking about. Some kind of in Himmel in a Himmelin response, a Himmelin reaction to how the Kodesh Baruch Hu aflamaton, how to menayin aflamaton. How do you know down in this world we call the Olam Asiyah? How do we know that that's such a thing? Shnemaru kara shem b'shem b'tzalo. So he calls b'shem b'tzalo. He called an individual name b'tzalo. He called him b'tzalo.
Why would we think that?
What?
Why would we think that?
Because there's a why would we think that's only
we call like that, then the Tachtonim we should also go for.
Yeah, okay, I hear you. It's a very good question, but in when you get down to this world, it's more coarse, it's more megushim. So you would think that the defining these definitions and this relationship is more adequate, is more pastic for something which is in Shemayim and Himmelin. So the Pshas said then it's more for sure for Zichud you have these Mashenka. When you get down here, it's almost the same. Almost the Zelbus. You would think such a thing. Mashmalon that even Aflamatim. Well, Kara Hashem b'Shem B'Tzalo. So he brings down from his father. So what's the Pirish? One line. Shapirish Shehem Nirtzim B'Tzad Klal u'Mitzad Prat. this verse that this is what we're talking about. There's two bechinas of Klal Yisrael. There's a bechinas of Klal, what we were calling Klolius Knesses Israel, and there's Mitzad Pride with the individuals. So he says Lefi Zet, and now the Shebi Shmuel himself is saying now, Yesh Lama Shemispar Shemas L'Gugulosam Hu Prat Kol Ish V'ish Lefi Mashahu. That's look there. When we say Kol Ish the Mispar Shemas L'Gugulosam, so Pshat said that each individual according to his Zayin Kop, understand. So that's each Lefi Daita Ka'amro Zal says in the Medrash Rabbah, Ein Daita Shal B'nei Adam Shova. Every party has a different another man. Kashem Shaparts say Shonas, so too they are saying Shonas and Mamela, because there are different. Every yid is different. Every person has a different mahalach hadas and his das. And Mamela, so that's what it says. The shemus that you're calling them ish. That's the ish the figul shemus legul galosam. Ul mishbechosam labeis avosam hu mitzad klal. This is what he's talking. It's what Taichik's father, the Ayin Sepurno. So he brings down the Sepurno, which okay, I'm not going to. B'misbar shemes ki hoyu oz kol echod me'elsa hador nechshav b'shmo hamar al tzuroso ha'ishius. There's all this Alba Mahalach. The pshat is that when you call each person b'shmo, the pshat is saying that each person has something which is unique to him, which the Ribbano Shalom not only does he address. The Klal Yisrael as a Klal, but he addresses the Yochid. This is the Medubah. This is what we're talking about. The Mailosa al derech ve'educha b'shem. The lo kain Karl Lador shal boi aretz. He says, but the door boi aretz is not like that. There was not medayik like that. V'chein lo nimna b'mispor shemes v'lo niskra zulosi rosh hamishpachas. He says over there when Klal Yisrael went into to Eretz Yisrael, so the Pshat said then it was like it was not individuals. It was just the Rosh Mishpachas, but it was Mishpachas or Mispar Ishim. Yeah. So he says, and then he brings out another medrash. It says that Klal Yisrael v'hidei b'medrash shekulim heim Yisrael ketzvo hashamayim. That we're equating the Tzvo Shemayim with the Tzvo Lamaton. That's Lamayil Lamaton. So that's what we're talking about over here. Nemar Kan Shemos v'Nemer Bechachovim Shemos. Shnemer Mana Mispar Lekulam Shemos. Shemos Yikra. Well, the Fish Shemos Shulin Kechachovim Kara Shemos Lekulam. That's why he calls each one just like the behind the commercial Kechachovim Shlechol Echad Yesh Lo Mem Sholem Yuchedes. Now we said we mentioned this a few times. The pshat is that Akash Baruch Hu works is mashpia. His hashpos on the and Metzias and all the Veltin come down and comes through the Chachavim into this world. It comes down through the Chachad the Masolis. That's why you had Akum. That's why you have a certain Avodah Zarah. The first Avodah Zarah was they used to mechabed like we saw from the Rambam. They were mechabed the Mesharsei Hamelech. They thought that was because the taka that comes down through, and that would be a cover for the melech, and it came was meshtalshul so that's called akum. That's called avodas kechavim mazolis. So that was the first thing because the enechanavi comes down through that. So and each just like you have bilyonim of kechavim, and you have mazolis now that are finding out like unbelievable things. So the Pshat said in each one it's as hashpah in this world, even though we don't recognize, but together. The sum total of all the chachavim mazolas and stuff, that's where all the hashpahs come to this world. So any mitzias in this world, any existence in this world comes through the chachavim and mazolas. That's the hashpah. So that's the kulam, the shemes yikra. That they're all each one is an individual, but together they have a sum total of an impact of the hashpahs into this world. Right now, shekulam shavim bo, v'haina shekulam meirim al aretz biyachad. But they have a different type of or kachavim nami orhum. Okay, kamal kain Yisrael yesh b'chol echad idya masha ein zuloso. He says by Klal Yisrael it's also like that. We each all have our contribution, our uniqueness which is the B'Shayas, that's the Adam Yochid, the B'Shvil the never other. We have it. Each person is unique and has something which nobody else is able to do. V'yesh behem inyan klali shekulam heim kal echad. And we also have Klal. We're also Klal Yisrael. We're an Indian klali. V'yish echad v'galev echad. V'goy echad b'aretz. V'heim nirtzim mitzad ha'prat mitzad ha'klal. So there's two different ideas which exist simultaneous by Klal Yisrael, as do by the Chavim and the Hashbaz that come Lamata. There's a Klaliistic Hashbaz, and then there's a Pratiistic, and that's the way it is. So he said that in Yonim Eila Shabisrael Mitzad Klal Mitzad Prat. He wants to veer off from a little bit of what he said. So I want to tell you like this that remember, like that's what we say, like the saying Chalkeinu B'Sar Sechel. What do you mean? It doesn't. The God knows everything, and they did everything, and they went and the Rashbi before him. Like, so what's like? Terry says no, but each yid, each from his neshama has a certain. You must follow saying Chalkeinu B'Sar Sechel. I have a chelik in Torah, which it's my tafkid to bring to bring a roast and shadas into sag the pshat through Yigiyas Torah. So the pshat that's interessant zach. So, in a time that the Pshat said these two bechinas are the bechinas of let's say, Klal Yisrael, the two bechinas again, the bechina from the Klolius, Kedesis Yisrael, and then the Adam Yochid. So, Pshat said that's Torah, I want to tell you, it's Torah and mitzvahs. The two bechinas of Torah and mitzvahs. Why? Because Torah is just like we said, everyone has his own das and his own menung, and it's not that everybody says every swar is a zach, whatever. We're talking about I'll be chachma, I'll be the mahalach, the chachmei Torah and stuff like that. But everybody has his own chelik in Torah. Masha'en kain so by Torah. Huh?
How we put him?
Yeah, all right.
See from a different angle, that's all.
Yeah.
Right,
but sometimes the guys, they're not seeing anything. He just says, say cornish,
They like one of those days, they will be able,
No, that's not telling you. There's a musik but not everybody that says something is elu. So that's just the way it is, But you have okay, that's not the issue right now. But that's a mahalach of Torah. The mahalach of Torah is the pshat that everybody is the pshat that has a uniqueness to him. Every individual yid has a uniqueness to him. Mashenkin in mitzvahs. Mitzvahs is something the pshat is that we're all equal in mitzvahs. I don't have mitzvahs different than you. When we get to Har Sinai, we're makabel the Torah, and the mitzvahs, the pshat is the mitzvahs of Torah. The same Taryag is that Surah Adam. The Taryag is the Surah Adam. We're all the Zalbut Surah Adam. So we all have the Zalbut mitzvahs. You have the same thing. You can say, not talking about this what's a coin and he has this, but we have to all Taryag. Taryag is applicable to Gans Klal Yisrael, to every person. I am the Pinishkin Melech and stuff like that. But before this is Taryag. I don't have 600, and I don't have 400. And
might still get there.
What?
Might still get there.
Yeah, I'm working on it. But right now, like Esato.
What you said a few weeks ago.
Yes.
About the mitzvahs and our connection to the other world.
Right. So the Einan can have his chelik of mitzvah be stronger than the Yenam's chelik. Right? No, but in terms of mitzvahs, that's what I'm saying, that the mitzvah is the tzura Adam.
Total.
The person has her machivarim. The person has her machivarim, the mitzvah is the tzura Adam. Whether one does one at this time or another time, or right now, it's not. When he learns it.
But if I got the same Torah as the Rashbi, right?
No,
I'm not learning it. Like
the same mitzvahs.
No. You have a unique understanding that you are capable. You have a chelik in Torah, which is not. It could be like the Lashem says. Today's Torah is expounding upon and bringing out the chidushim from the Rishonim. You understand? It's not you're not mechadish something you never the Rashba didn't know, but he didn't bring it out clearly. He was didn't say it in a way that it's readily understandable. So when I explain the Rashba and I say like that, that's my chiddush. This is a chiddush. But there were people that are mechadish and things, but that's also our chiddush. That's also part of our chiddush, all right? But in terms of mitzvahs is something which is a constant. So the time mitzvahs is really nisyaches more to that source of Adam, which is the Klalius Knesset Yisrael. And Torah is unique. Torah is something which is in kol echad ve'echad. So if you versteht das, so it comes out very interessante Sach that the whole shaila was, where was this? What was the spilus of Klal Yisrael? And they had on in by Har Sinai. What was the spilus of Malachim and things like that? You know what Malachim are in that bechina? What are Malachim? Malachim are more are the bechinas Torah. The Malachim are bechinas Torah, because Malachim you can't do two Malachim one Malach can't do two shlichus. One Malach can't do two shlichus, and they each have their own unique thing which they have to do. They can't do this. So that's the bechinas Torah. That's what we're saying. That's something that everybody has unique. Is the pshas, that's the bechinas Torah. So what happens was that you're coming to Har Sinai and Klal Yisrael, who at the time, so this again, when do we become this Klalius Knesset Yisrael, which the Klalius Knesset Yisrael, which is really, that is the bechinas of mitzvahs now. That's the kulam shem, that's the shem yikra, right? We said the bechinas of mitzvahs is the kulam shem yikra, because that's one shem, that's one thing which is a davar shavah l'kol. Masha enkein, when you're talking about Torah, so that's Shemus Yikra. That's something which is everybody's unique. So we're talking about like Malachim. Malachim are more dama to even though they have tremendous, but they're dama to Torah in terms of Shemus Yikra, because they each have their own shem. They each have their own mahalach. They're not mahalach, but they have their own shlichus from the Rebbeinu Shalom. The Malachim are just shluchim, and they have their own shlichus, and one malach can't do two shlichus. So Memela the Pshaz, it comes out very interesting. So what happens here? Klal Yisrael, we had a Masara of the Golim. You're right. The Masara of the Golim is nice. It's nothing good. But his chil, there was no time to have a degolim at that time. Why? Because the time for the degolim was that the Klalius Knesset Yisrael, which is this Yitzira Niflo, which happens now and right before Matan Torah, which is completed before Matan Torah. We said that the Klalius Knesset Yisrael was the bechinas mitzvahs. So Mamela, the Rebbeinu Shalom is going and giving us the Torah. He's coming down to Har Sinai giving us mitzvahs, and that mitzvahs, the Pshat is to Fikeret. That's in the who's coming down with them? The Malachim. And Malachim are in that bechina from Torah, are a bit of the individuals. And yet we saw that even that mahalach of the individual, when they're coming down, but they went all around in a situation. We saw that the malachim, even the spitz individuals, can have a situation where they're meshuba to the tzuras adam, the tzuras adam, the meshuba to the tzuras adam of the shem yikra, of one shem in terms of mitzvahs. His chilul is avos. The pshat is that at the time, the pshat is that you got it for them. So all right, it was a nice your formation. A formation is a formation. Very good, nice. Ma'amasha enkein the pshat is, but over here, why we saw that bechina of a malachi, which is called echo ve'echod, and here we're coming here the Mekabel Torah, but yet we're still we at the time until Matan Torah we were like individuals, right? We weren't an am yet. The am nifchar became right before it was completed. We progressed our Yetzirah from the am nifchar, but it was finished right before Matan Torah, before Beis even. And therefore, the pshat is now we became is the Amma Nivchar. The pshat is, so what do we became? We became people that are kulam kish echad b'leiv echad. Shem yikra, the shem yikra. So Shem Yikra. So we're saying also maybe we don't have this individual. We can't combine that with the individual of the. Each one has his own meinog. Each one has his own das and a bechinas hatera and a Shem Sikra. That we see the malachim coming down. The Rebbe is coming down to give us a Torah, and on that Torah, there's coming down these malachim, the chafes elef malachim. It's a pshat that is phenomenal. They're coming down, and we see that not only are they individual malachim, which each one has a shaychus that individual the shemus, but they're also shem yikra because they're all in one structure. That is the structure of the Golim. The diglu alai ava is the structure of pshat that this is all one. This is all for the same purpose, for the same zach, for the same for the same unity. So that was this pilus. That's a kakis chilu lisavus. You understand? There was chilu lisavus. It was nifla digazach. Mamash puli digazach. His chilu lisavus over there. So that was the chiddush from the Matan Torah and the Rebbeinu Hashem said, okay, so we're gonna have you also, you Klai, so you're also gonna have. Not only are you going to be Mekavle Torah, and the pshat is that you're going to be people that have the Shemi Seeker, which have the Mekavle Torah. Each one you can have your own das, and your das are not shanas. Each one have separate chelik and Torah. But the pshat is, but you're also going to be able to be verbunden as one person, as one unit, as Klal Yisrael. That's the Degolim. That's the Degolim. So and it comes out very an interessant zach that because of so the lot of what we're saying, and we said that Fikert in the Dura Midbar, they were closer. Now they were closer now to Kabbalah Torah. They were Kabbalah the Torah mentioned and mitzvahs that we're mechuyev mitzvahs, but like the Ramban says that the Iker Makam mitzvahs is Eretz Yisrael. So you would think that you could have an idea that maybe Taka were separate individuals and we're not with this one, the Shem Yikra. We don't have this identity of the Shem Yikra. That was the Savo we saw from the Malachim that you can have the combination of that. That's why the Kodesh Baruch Hu put it together. The Pshara said that's why there's a Mishkan. The Mishkan, the Matavich between a mitzvah person and a Torah person is the Pshara said the Mishkan. Is the Mishkan in the Midbar? Is that there was the Mishkan? Was that was the Mahalich? That was the Makam Ashchina. The Hashros Ashchina was in Mishkan. Was the Pshas that Al Yirei the Mishkan brought together this idea where you can have this, and that's why around the Mishkan you have these the Golim around the Mishkan. Is the Pshas is that that's the Chibur from the Shemas Yikra or the Shem Yikra. It's mamash nifla de gezach. But since in the Midbar we're more closer to Torah mention than I'm saying Torah. I'm not saying but to this idea of Torah, which is the individual Mela, and that's what we saw by the Golim that you could be also part of. You could have both. But since we're in the that's when they had a Mishkan in the Midbar. In the Midbar, it was shaykh to a Mishkan, and the Mishkan that was the matavach between the mitzvahs and the Torah. Masha Enkein. When you get into Eretz Yisrael, what do we say the other way around? In Eretz Yisrael, there was much more closer to the idea of mitzvahs, because that was the Iker Makom mitzvahs, like the Ramban says. So if that's the Iker Makom mitzvahs and Torah Mata He'alev, Harbe also can Rabbi Yishmael, but also be Yodom, you understand? So now you got to go do things and work in Torah Mata He'alev. What's going to be with Torah? So in Hanami you can fit it in, but there are a little bit more. It's more that you have to go now do in terms of the tzuras of Klal Yisrael, in terms of mitzvahs. In terms of mitzvahs of Shasa, that's when you're all equal. That's the Shem Mikro. So we've also said Zayin with Torah Mata He'alev. So of that you need a base of Mikdash. Is the Gemara there and says the base of Mikdash and the Mishkan are one. So but there's a little bit of chiluk over here when I'm timing. The Pshas in the Bidbar where you're more closer to the Torah, so the Pshas, and then you have the Mishkan, which is matavak you to the mitzvahs. Even though right now the Pshas and doesn't that's not the that's not the Iker right now, but there is that combination. There is that Metzias that that's what we are. That the B'Shara said in the Chanami that we're Claudius Knesset Israel, and the Claudius Knesset Shem Yikra. Mashenker were also the individuals of an Adam Yechidi, and the B'Shara we're Torah learners, and the B'Shara and each one has his own little bit, and we put it together. But Mashenker, when you go into Eretz Israel, so there you need a Mikdash. There you need a Mikdash, because there the Mikdash has to be matavech to the people who are closer, a bissel nonter in Inyan. I'm not talking we're not talking about there were less in terms of the Inyan Shabbat. The B'Shaz over there was the B'Shaz like the Gemara says, hey, matar matayla, you're gonna go and do Charish B'Shaz Charish, you're gonna do Zriya B'Shaz Zriya, and what's the time with Torah?
Lishkas Agozes.
Huh?
The Lishkas Agozes.
So that by Mikdash, that's where the Sanhedrin was. Mitzion Taitzei Sarah. And the Chanami, the Pshara said that's the Chibur of this two bechinas of Shemus Yikra and Shem Yikra. In Eretz Yisrael, you need Mikdash. You need a standing platz of Mikdash, and from there is Mitzion Taitzei Sarah. Zenifle de Gezach. So the bottom line is you can have both. We are both. Our existence is both, but in Eretz Yisrael we have a Mikdash with that combination. In the Midbar you have the Mishkan with that combination, and that's how we get to both the Shemus Yikra and the Shem Yikra, and that's the Golim. That's what Memela Mahai time it. So in Eretz Yisrael there was no the Golim. Why was the Golim only in the Midbar, and it wasn't the Golim in Eretz Yisrael, the Tzura around there? That's a different Fikeret. The Golim were aimed to mechaber that bechina like the Malachim who are like Torah individuals. Means that they each had a separate shlichus from the Rebbeinu Shalom, Das Rebbeinu Shalom, and they were individuals, and yet they could be, the Golim made sure that they were mechuber to that, and we saw that, and that was that the Graulik Ataiva, Villindos, because that's the ganze Ratzon from Klai Yisrael, some mechuber, some Rebbeinu Shalom. So we see that is the way, like you would say, that this is mechuber, this is the way to be mechuber to Rebbeinu Shalom. You need both. So we saw that was possible. It's not trying to say you only one thing. So in Chanami and Eretz Yisrael, where the Pshat you're more like one, it's one. So the Pshat, right? We said it over there in Eretz Yisrael. That what are you doing? You're more. It's the Makam HaMitzvahs. And you have to make more shtadlis in this world. So the Pshat so Torah Mata Hilda. So in Chanami the Pshat said then that's why you have the Mikdash. You have a Mikdash, and the Pshat and the Mikdash is Mechaber, and that's the Makom HaTorah, and you can Mitzion Teitzei Sarah, and that's what it is. So Mamela, a very beautiful thing. It's the Pshat comes out nifla.
And the Gila B'Nisma Chabach, the Gila B'Nisma Chabach, the Chav Beis Eisi is a Torah.
Right.
The Chav Beis Eisi is Chav Beis the Chav Eisi is Chav Beis, which is Beis Alof and Beis Revaves, which
that's
they
right.
saw that they saw the
good. Yeah,
good. So they saw that the Pshat is the Torah is not just like there's a way to get Masik Chachma. It's a way to live with the Regila B'Schabach. It's a way to have
it's an nonsense in the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's the whole idea. The whole idea of us is beautiful. So nifle de Gezach. So in Mele, das steht in this is our Indian over here. Suras Rosh Kol Asperei Yisrael Mishpachosam Veisa Vosam B'Mispar Shemus Kol Zachal L'Gulosam. I mean, we've read it thousands of times, but what's made us, that is. So just that Te'ima now, his Chilul Izavas, I thought it was very, 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 very nice. This. Let's see. What else was noch? Yeah. Okay. The Rebbeinu B'Chayis is noch a Kanech. So again, this is mamish nifle digging yonim. This is mamish tima something tos. V'hoyu Yisrael arba degolim kashem sharo Behar Sinai arba machna shchina. So again, so this is over Medrash, and it brings down the Medrash. So this is the Metzias was that once you had this Mishkan, okay, once you had the Mishkan, so Moshe Rabbeinu never got the nevuah straight to him anymore. It always came through the Mishkan. It's an interessante Sach. Very interessante Sach. What's like, very, very interesting. It's very interessant. So the Medrash says, that until there was an Ol Moed, that's the Mishkan. The Mishkan is the Ol Moed. We said a few weeks ago that there was an Ol Moed, which was the Ohel from Moshe, was called an Ol Moed. Like it says in a portion, but over here when we talk about Ol Moed, we're talking about Mishkan. We're talking about Ol Moed Bambish. So over here, actually, Omad Ol Moed Daber Ima Besneh. Shnever v'yikrei love Elokim mitoch hasneh. So there was, again, it's good. You'll see they're very beautiful. Achachak diber ima b'Mitzrayim. So we're four different like musogim from Dibur that the Rebbeinu Shalom had with Moshe Rabbeinu, and four. We had the sneh, we have Mitzrayim, and he's going to bring out a pasuk from Midian, and then even Sinai. So four different Mosogim. I guess everybody wake up. The Pshat said these are the four directions. These are the Golim, the four Mahalachim from the Golim. It's very bad. Achak diber iba b'Sinai. Kivin she'omad Ol Moed. But once the Ol Moed was put up, Amar Yafe hu atznius.
What wasn't the Sinai?
No. I know what you said. Yeah, it was Sinai, but it was not Har Sinai, meaning it was not Kabbalah's entire then. And so it's two separate diburim, Sneh and Sinai, same letters, same osius. Right? So the Pshais, but again, those were that was before the Ol Moed, before the Mishkan, before the Ol Moed. But once you got into the Mishkan.
It was by Bamidbar Sinai. The Maimonides now was also.
It was, but the Mokum was the Mokum Sinai. Yeah, but he's saying that's why there four. It should be only three.
It's a different.
Yeah, it's different. They're different. Bechinas of his galus and over there. Let's say. It's a machlokas mefarshim. The Malbim says that was Shaila. When did Moshe Rabbeinu get to the level from Mishkinim and Taveres to Grona and stuff like that? This is a shtaiter in the it's a something besides that, but that's not what we're dealing with right now. I'll call Patnim. It was the four different bechinas of Dibur that the Rebbeinu Shalom had with the Moshe Rabbeinu. But Kivin she'amar Ol Moed Amar Yafe hu atznius. It's a santa zach. Once we got to the Ol Moed, Yafu hu atznius shenamar v'hatznei leches im elokecho. We know what it is. Snuim Chacham also says in the pasuk. So Memela after it was an Ol Moed, the snius. Hischa medaber ima b'Ol Moed. V'chein Amar David kol kvudo as melech penima memishputz azov levusha. Very interesting. And it goes on in the Darshan said that's by Moshe Rabbeinu. This is the kavod Shemayim. This is the kavod of Kol Kavod Bas Melech Penima. Shnamar v'bo Moshe Ol Moed l'daber ita v'yishma esakol. This is all what we're talking about. So you see, a very beautiful thing that Indian of the Degolim was also that Indian of B'tok Tznius. It was the B'tok Tznius and B'shatz Vasnei Leches. Vasnei Leches im Hashem Elokecho. So the way we're for teaching it comes very interesting to Zach though, because this Bechina from the Daled places of Dibur that Akash Baruch was speaking with Klal Yisrael. What is that? That's remember we had before, it was like I think by Achrei Mot-Kedoshim, we had the different bechinas of when Akash Baruch between the Luchas Rishonos and the Luchas Shnius. So the Luchas Rishonos, when the Pshat is that was something that was it was more there was no shichur at that time when the luchas rishonos and the pshas and the luch and also that was behakil. That was behakil. So Masha Enkain by when we're talking about in the luchas shnius. So we said that the bechina from luchas shnius that was everybody kind of like, remember the lashon moral was yesh lo panai he didn't come because not because he had something better to do, but there was no chiyuv of this. It's Ketzad Seder and Mishnah that the Gemara in Eruvin says Ketzad Seder and Mishnah. Moshe Rabbeinu taught Aaron, and then he told him this. This is the ganze Seder. This was something that was not behakil. You understand? It was two different bechinas over here. So this is what we're talking about over here. It's very good. And what do we say? What was the difference between the luchas rishonos and the luchas shnius? Because the luchas rishonos was really that bechina of Adam Rishon Kadam Achet, of real Adam Rishon. That's what the Gemara in Shabbos says in Kuf and Vav that when he got to Har Sinai, says Pascha Zum Mosim. It was Pascha Zum Mosim, but the Sarik Madrega from Adam Rishon Kadam Achet. So then we're not talking about the Madur Basra from Adam Rishon. We're talking about the Madur Kama from Adam Rishon. That was the bechina, that madrega was the Madur Kama from Adam Rishon. The Madur Kama of Adam Rishon was Meshamish not B'tznius. Not B'tznius. What's Nei Leches was not applicable at that time. You understand? It was the pshat is that he was Aram V'lo Yisvaboshu. Yisvaboshu. So the pshat that's the pshat said that was the Mahalach. That was the Mahalach of Chachma at that time. Well, we're only talking about Chachma at that time. We're talking about the Mahalach of Chachma of the Ritzon, of the Ratzon of the Rebbeinu Shem coming into this world was a Mahalach from was an open azach. It was not B'Hatznei Leches. Masha'en came once we had the Chet. What happens that now they had to mechasen themselves. They had to this. The Pshas said that's the Luchas Shnius. That's the Luchas Shnius. It was with Pascha Zum Mosim, but then once you broke the Luchas, the Pshas all bets are over. It's over. Finished. Back Tzariktum back to Misa. There's Misa and there's this and that's the Bechina from the Shnius now. That's the Shnius. Nifla Adba'od. So it's Mamash Pili Ployim. Is the pshaz? That's what those state the measures. His go metabra ima ba'ol moed. That's why it had to be a now in the ol moed. There couldn't be any other play. You couldn't have a personal direct connection with Moshe Rabbeinu. It had to go through whatever it went through the Aron, the comparators, the Kruvim, whatever it went through. It had to get the middle, but it couldn't be direct. It couldn't be chutz. It had to be inside. It had to be basnei leches. Because that's the bechina from what the luchas shnius, and the luchas shnius, that's what it's talking about. Very, very, very interesting stuff. Beautiful. I mean, it's all things stim. It's like if you really, I'm just giving you the Rashi Prokim. You look in, it's much nerdic nifla adbad. One second, just like so another. I think it's mamish. Is that okay? This is
by our parsha it's also hakil, right?
Huh?
By our parsha it's also hakil.
What's our parsha?
Bamidbar.
Bamidbar, yeah.
I'll call das b'nei Yisrael.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Rashi, they don't bring it down like that. You understand? Okay. Okay, so you have this mispar and all the mispar. We're getting a mamash like a tefis and this, and then that's why you have after the mispar, and then you have the chaniyah, then you have this nifla. That's when you have the degolim. Nach them, steht er here in Gimel. Ve'ela tolos Aaron and Moshe b'yam diber Hashem es Moshe b'Har Sinai. Okay. And then it goes on. Ve'ela shmos b'nei Aaron goes to shmos b'nei Aaron. What's it with Moshe Beno? What's it with Moshe Beno? Oh, ve'ela tolos Aaron and Moshe b'yam diber Hashem es Moshe b'Har Sinai. So I've left something over there. Okay, 1 second. So Fragik, what do you mean? Rashi, Be'ela told us Aaron and Moshe, Be'enu maskir ala b'nei Aaron. So Rashi, V'nikra told us Moshe, L'fisha lamdam Torah. So we state, Lamdam Torah, Malamed shekol ha-malabed es ben chavera Torah, Ma'alo alav ha-kasev ki ilo yoldo. Beautiful. Let's go weiter. Next. What are you talking about? What's going on here? What do you mean? Did he only teach the Bnei Aaron Torah? Who did Moshe Rabbeinu teach Torah to? The Gans Klal Yisrael. Case it said Mishnah. Go look it up. It's off in the Gemara. We had for care. We said in the Mishpatim we had was psukim, off in the psukim in the parsha over there. It was off in the psukim. This case it said the Mishnah. So what? Somebody's trying to. It's a fast one over here. What's going on? I mean, I don't know how you people sleep at night. It's unbelievable. So I saw. What? No, you said the other. Where did I put it? No. There it's a sound.
Go get it.
Huh? No, I don't know where I put it.
What's it?
The Moral Frekte Kasha. Moral Frektas, but I would like to show you the lotion over there, but it's a show. Well, I thought I had it right over here. No. I told you, what's it? This is, I don't know what
That's delicious.
Yeah, but it went out, it ran away. But just only because the Lashon says it's Makimus is Efrektus. Efrekte Kasha.
Because there was a besondere Mahalach of Moshe Rabbeinu's Torah. Lozer had by Poradum, you see, it was besondere halach to have a Lozer.
Memela.
Because
so he's not Ki'ilu Yoldo with no the rest of him? Was that's du?
Ja, besondere
level. Das ist nicht von der Mann-Test. Das ist nicht von der ein Ponim L'Torah. B'yom diber Hashem al Moshe naso elu Torah shelo de'im lo kein ma'al inyan diber Hashem l'kan. Okay, diber Hashem l'kan. V'af agav shegam acher kach naso Torah lo shari tomid hoyu malamed osam komash v'lo and afilu lo lom derak dover echod naso elu Torah. Fine. U'lefikach kosa b'yom diber Hashem naso elu Torah. Good. That's Rashi. V'im tamar v'chi lehem levad lomad. Ha! He said, you got my kasha. What do you mean? The Maral took my kasha here. V'alo l'chol Yisrael lomad. He taught Klal against Klal Yisrael. What was this miyucha to them? V'yu hakol told himself. Everybody was told this Moshe. Abazay, if he teaches your Torah, so we're all told himself. V'yesh lomar. The Shani Yisrael Shahari HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tziva Lo Sheyilamed Lehem Torah. Daft is good to heaven. Shani Yisrael, what was the kasha was the why Gans Klal Yisrael not called Torah Osov and just the Bnei Aaron. You know why? Because the Eibishter told Moshe Rabbeinu to teach everybody Torah. V'haTorah shenosla LaMoshe nosla ela lamed LeYisrael Torah. This is Gans. He only got the Torah in order to teach Klal Yisrael. Lo shaykh lomar sheYisrael heim bonov. It's not shaykh on that to say that him bonov. Shel mole lo haya Yisrael lo haya Torah in this is the Moshe. Without Klal Yisrael, there wouldn't be no Moshe Rabbeinu. That's it, finished. Avomar shalomad lebnei Aaron. This was Yosef mimar shalomad leYisrael. That was extra. Zeh haya mimar levad. That was Moshe Rabbeinu's hamtzur to teach bnei Aaron. V'lo nistaven b'pi ha'gvura l'ilmud lehem yaser u'b'zeh lehem aprat ki'ilu yoldem. And Mamela, in that prat is ki'ilu yoldem. You got to hear it. Kamat also it's very shver. Like it has kamat shver to understand that. What is it? What's the difference? What does it mean? He wasn't. He did it yaser and stuff like that. And what did he teach? Like. And Chuliks, but I Mavin, you know, I don't understand what's going on over here. So according to what we said over there, by the Keitza said the morale over there is Ein Lo Pnai is the Pshas very good. Over here, what are we talking about? Over here, we're talking about the Keitza Seder Mishnah over here. We're talking about after Be'ela told us, Arda Moshe b'yom Diber Hashem es Moshe Bahar Sinai. But they asked, why is it Diber Hashem b'yom Bahar Sinai? It was really, we're talking about after the Mechila from we're talking about Luchas Shnias. Talking about Luchas Shnias, this is the Maral Shitoso. Back then, what we just said, that according to the Maral, the Pshara said Moshe Rabbeinu was not mechuyev to go teach everybody at one time. There was no hakil over there. The Pshara, the Moshe Rabbeinu, he gave a shiur. You come. You didn't miss it, you go to the next year. You come to the this and that and that. So that's what when Moshe Rabbeinu decided, that was on Moshe. Lo shaykh lama she Yisrael hem banim el mali lo ha Yisrael avo masha lama the bnei Aaron was bnei Aaron. Why did he pick? He told he was malamed Aaron, and then he was malamed the bnei Aaron came in, and who told him to do that? Where did he come from? The bnei Aaron, they should come in like that. Yosem masha lama Yisrael. No. The Pshaz, he was mechuyev to go give over to Klal Yisrael. That's mishpatim. That's the mishpatim. That's the to put in the toss him lifneihem. He was mechuyev to go do that. He wasn't mechuyev to go teach bnei Aaron separate and teach them separate. So that what he did separate, the Pshaz, because it was Luchas Shnias. So if it had been Luchas Rishonos, there was no chilu. There was no chilu between this one and that one. You told everybody Bahakil. Masha came only by the Luchas Shnias. That's what we're talking about. So over there, it's shaykh to say that he did more. The Pshaz, and only when you did more, what you were not supposed to do, then it's Kilu Yaldom. Magnificent. Okay. Shabbos.
I think man was saying, Medr says when Moshe Rabbeinu came to Shemayim, he saw that God was saying, maybe Omrei.